What's up my loves? My name is Paige, this is Pages with Paige, and today we're going to be talking through my series of 2020. So in 2020, I managed to complete off 12 series, and I'm so proud with that. I wanted to finish off 10 and then just kept going and finishing them off. Things fell into place with Twister and things like that. And I also caught up with 6. So one of these, you could probably say that it's done, the trilogy itself, but then there's going to be 3 more books, but I'm not sure if it is following that protagonist or not, so I figured I'd just say up to date rather than completed. So let's dive into the 12 that I finished. The first was a completely digital one, and that was I Hate Fairyland, volumes 1 through to 4. I read all of them, I think in January. I didn't particularly like it. It's not my sort of art style or story themes. It's just a bit too gory, it's just not my thing. Still read them all and can conclude that I finished the series. It's following a girl who gets sent to Fairyland as a child, and then she has to find her way to get out, but can't. And so she's stuck in Fairyland as a little girl, but has aged up mentally, and yeah. The next book series I finished was The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So I completed it by finishing The Return of the King. This is a very famous fantasy series, and yeah, I don't have much to say. I enjoyed it overall. You can tell it's pay by the word, but I really enjoyed the descriptions, and I'm curious to see what else is in the world, so I can sort of make a little bit more sense of it as well. Next up, I have the Winnie the Pooh series by A.A. Milne. So this isn't including 2 extra books in the complete collection that are inspired by. So those written by A.A. Milne are what I'm counting. So I read, I think, The House at Pooh Corner, but definitely When We Were Very Young and Now We Are 6. So yeah, finish that off. Next was a trilogy that I was so excited to finish, and that is the Ink series by Alice Broadway. This is following Lenora, and it's a dystopian. It sort of gives me City of Ember vibes, and what happens is these people are marked, and their initiations when they get marked to show their life and things like that. Things take a little bit of a turn and everything's not as it seems, but these are absolutely stunning. So I finished off the series by reading Scar, and the first one is Ink and Spark. But yeah, I finished Scar, and unfortunately I was a little disappointed with the ending. I felt that it wasn't enough. It was a very caricature villain, the descriptive monologues, and yeah, so overall I enjoyed the series, but the last one definitely wasn't my favorite. The first one definitely was. The next series I completed was To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. So I read P.S. I Still Love You and Always and Forever Lara Jean. I feel like as I read this series, it got younger, or I just left too much space, so I got a little bit too old for the series. I feel that the way Lara Jean talks is very young, considering she's about to go to college, and it just, I don't know, it wasn't really reflective of my experience, but I still think it's a really cute, fluffy read, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Next up, we have something that has cemented itself as one of my favorite series, and that is the Wayfarer series by Becky Chavers. So I read A Closed and Common Orbit and Record of a Space-Borne Few, and I absolutely adore these. I enjoyed book 3, Record of a Space-Borne Few, more than the second. I know April really doesn't like the third one. I'm also not sure, because I completed this and then found out this year that there's the 4th one coming out, and now I'm like, oh, I didn't actually complete it, but mentally I'm like, I completed the trilogy. So who knows, so I suppose I got up to date with this, but for me, mentally, I finished it. Still gonna read the 4th one the second I get my hands on it this year though. Next up, we had another disappointing ending of a trilogy, and that is the Otherworld series by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. This is following Simon. It's very Ready Player One vibes. The ending of this book, which I read, this is the second, in October of last year made me so excited for Other Life, and it was just the biggest disappointment. Again, similar to Scar, the characters and the villains just became caricatures of themselves. It was very easy. There was really no stakes. And yeah, it was a little bit disappointing because I really enjoyed Otherworld and really enjoyed Other Earth, and then Other Life was just, it was alright. Next up, I read The Dark Vault, which is the Archived series by V.E. Shaw. This is the combination of the two, the Archived and the Unbound. I don't know if she is writing more, but I really wish she would, because I fell in love with these characters. I really loved Mackenzie, and was just their dynamic was really lovely, so I would love to continue on with that. But if it's just these two, then that was a really good series. The next up was a bit of a funny one, and that is All Right Reserved series, or the Words series by Gregory Scott Casoulis. So I read Access Restricted. I read All Rights Reserved in either 2017 or 2018 and fell in love with it. It's a dystopian, you're not allowed to speak or they cost words, so if you're poor you can't afford to, and I really enjoyed the commentary on it. And I don't know if I did the book credit, because this was one that I listened to whilst completing a jigsaw puzzle at like from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. I also listened to Tweet Cute and absolutely loved it. So I don't feel like it's necessarily the situation, it was more the book than me, but I just felt that it wasn't the best. I found it was, All Rights Reserved was captivating and enthralling. With this, it just sort of lagged. It's not that much chunkier, but there is that little extra depth, and maybe if I had been shortened just a little bit, I'm not 100% sure, but I still, overall, I really loved the series because All Rights Reserved was so good. But yeah, it's more like a 4-star rather than, or like a 3.5 4-star series rather than being a 5-star series. Next up, I can't pronounce the name of the series, but it's The Antipodean Queen by Felicity Banks. So I read Heart of Brass in 2017. Fell in love with it, and that ending, holy schooly dooley. And then yeah, so I ended up reading Silver and Stone, and I read Iron Lights. Yes. This was very close. So I absolutely adore Felicity Banks' writing. I love the characters. There is LGBT rep in these, and it's set in Australia, the first book taking place around Victorian in the gold rush. So it's a really fascinating element. It's a mixture of steampunk, magic, science, and yeah, I loved it. So yeah, very happy to have concluded this. And yeah, next up we have my Mitch Match series, and the first one is the Farseer trilogy, which is by Robin Hobb. So the first one's Assassin's Apprentice, the next is Royal Assassin, and the third being Assassin's Quest. I read Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest this year and absolutely fell in love with Fitz, my soul. Robin Hobb has now cemented herself as one of my favorite fantasy writers. I just adore her characters, her worlds, just yes. So I'm very excited to continue on with the Realm of the Elderling series this year. I am currently working my way through the Lifeship Traders trilogy, so hopefully I'll finish that one this year. But yeah, considering how chunky they are, listening to the audiobooks, which are all on the Australian script, really helps just to immerse yourself in this world. And I don't think, I think I just physically read Assassin's Apprentice, which is why I didn't enjoy it as much, but holy dooly, books 2 and 3, just perfection. And then finally, the last series I completed in its entirety is the Scythe series, or Arc of the Scythe series, I think is its full title. So I had read Scythe and Thunderhead, and I read The Toll. So The Toll was a really good conclusion to the series. I am a little bit disappointed in the fact that I don't think it pushed the boundaries enough. So I'm definitely thinking of rehoming this Crate exclusive edition to just get the paperback, so then they match and they can all sit together on my shelves. Let me know if anyone's interested in this copy. That was the final series that I completed in 2020. Alrighty, and so I just realized that I actually have 7 series that I got up to date with. So one I think I read in November and just forgot to highlight it in my planner, so then yeah. But that is the Morgan Crow series by Jessica Townsend. So I think I read both Wondersmith and Hollowpox in 2020, so that caught me up to date for the series, and I'm so excited. I seriously adore this series. Like, oh, I need more. The only ebook version that I read was the Brightstorm series by Vashti Hardy. So I read Brightstorm and Dark Whispers, which got me up to date. And I'm really enjoying it overall. There was a really cute, like, bear-like familiar in the second one that I just adore, and I love Artie and Maud. They're just really beautiful, wholesome characters. Had my heart going, pulled a red herring, and then red herring wasn't actually a red herring, and I got very sad. So yeah, love having such hard-hitting emotional connections to books. Now, the series that I mentioned earlier, as I'm not quite sure if the series is finished or not, is the Pages & Co series by Anna James. So I read Tilly and the Book Wanderers, Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales, and Tilly and the Map of Stories. I believe there is a series that is following on from this, but Tilly isn't our protagonist. It's still in the Pages & Co series and world, but it's following a different protagonist. So that's why I'm like, did I finish this? Did I get up to date? I don't really know. But yeah, the next series I caught up with was City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. I read a lot of V.A. Schwab last year. So I read Tunnel of Bones, and then this year Bridge of Souls is going to be released. I only own City of Ghosts. I listened to Tunnel of Bones audibly, but I really enjoyed it. I love seeing more of Jacob's backstory, and yeah, City of Ghosts is set in Edinburgh, but Tunnel of Bones is set in Paris. So yeah, just a really good middle grade read. The next series I binge read in 2020, and that is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. So I read Heartstopper Volume 1, Heartstopper Volume 2, and Heartstopper Volume 3, which got me up to date for Heartstopper Volume 4, which is coming out this year. I am excited. I love this. This is adorable. It fills my soul with so much joy and happiness. And yeah, it's so cute. I can't deal. So very happy to have these and have started the series. I know everyone was hyping it up for the longest time, and I enjoyed it. You can read it all online, I believe, but I'm happy to wait for the volumes and just read along that way. Next up was a series that, why I'm continuing beats me, and that is The Aurora Cycle by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I read this 2019 and then read Aurora Burning in 2020. I did it as a buddy read with April and Cara, and we all gave it 3 stars. But we're all going to continue on doing our buddy reads together because we apparently want to hurt ourselves. Chapter 3 was absolutely appalling. The start of it is talking about her tits, and my girls are too big for this uniform. Don't get me wrong, I love my ladies, chi-chis, tatas, whatever euphemism you want to use. It goes on for 2.5 pages, just yeah. So not overly thrilled with this. Very similar vibes to Otherworld, the series. So yeah, but we'll keep going. And finally, the last series that I got up to date with has become one of my favorite series, hands down, and that is Hell's Library series by AJ Hackworth. So the first is Library of the Unwritten, and then we found out that The Archive of the Forgotten was coming out in October, so we immediately pre-ordered it, and I read it within 2 days of it arriving, I think. A very short time. Adored. My copy is tabbed, but it's with a friend, so fingers crossed we can get that one back so I can show off all my tabs, because these are just amazing. They're so good. I really enjoy following Claire, Brevity, Hero, and a whole other bunch of characters. I think the story itself is so beautiful for book lovers, and I feel that there's enough action or plot that even if you aren't a bookish person, you'll still appreciate it. So yeah, this has cemented itself as one of my favorite series. I have no idea when we're getting more. I'm not okay with this. So yeah, I am so excited to pick up book 3 whenever that comes out. And yeah, so those are all the series that I have caught up with or completed in 2020, and I'm feeling pretty chuffed with myself. I'm so excited for the next ones to come out for so many of these series, and I just feel like I found so many favorites. I feel like 2020 was the year that I started getting my shit together for series and actually continuing on with them. I did start a lot of series, but some of them there was only the first book, so I can actually stay up to date as they come out, or I just need to force myself to read those final ones. Let me know in the comments below, are you a series or standalone reader? Like, doing this and looking at all these books that I've completed is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, it's wonderful. If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!